Today's shir is Yona, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, or Yona's flight of fancy. Where was he running to, and why was he running? And what does it mean for us? You know, Tanakh is not a history book. Tanakh is God's GPS for today. There are 24 books in Tanakh. One of them is called the Book of Yona, which is read on Yom Kippur. So it's not a history book. What are we supposed to take away from the Book of Yona? You can run, but you can't hide, right? Now, Yona's flight of fancy, where was he running? Remember the movie The Great Escape?
Yes.
The Great Escape, okay. Where was he running and what was he running from? And what's the message from the Book of Yona? We read on Yom Kippur, it's never too late to do tshuva. Even a non-Jew can do tshuva. So if a non-Jew can do tshuva, we certainly can do tshuva on Yom Kippur. So it gives a person chizuk and encouragement not to be depressed that it's too late, he's too far behind the 8 ball. If low-life Ninevanites can do tshuva, then we certainly can do tshuva. It gives a person chizuk. Now, why did the king of Nineveh, why did he listen? I mean, he was so overtaken, immediately he did tshuva. Why? He should have ignored the prophet, put him in the loony bin, right? But no, yes?
That he was the Pharaoh.
Excellent. The Zohar says that he was a Gilgal of the Paro. Remember Paro from the Exodus? So this king of Nineveh was a reincarnation of that. We'll talk about reincarnation later, how it fits in the Book of Yona. But he was a reincarnation of Paro. So he knew that God meant business. So therefore he took it seriously. Okay? Now who was this Yona? Who was this Yona? The Talmud tells us that he was the dead child that Eliyahu Navi resurrected. Remember Eliyahu Navi resurrected a dead child?
To the Shunamis?
No, you're mixing up. The Shunamis, that's Chavakuk. The dead child that Elisha resurrected, he became the prophet Chavakuk. Chavakuk means the hugged one, because Elisha said to his mother, At chaveket ben, you'll be hugging a child, and the child died, and Elisha resurrected, and that became the prophet Chavakuk, which means the hugged one. But Eliyahu Navi resurrected a dead child before Elisha did, and the Talmud says that dead child was Yona ben Amittai, our prophet Yona. So who is he running from? He experienced God's awesome power of life and death, that he was the dead child that Eliyahu resurrected. So where's he running from? Why did he want to escape? So the Talmud gives a few explanations. Why was he running? Because he knew that the Ninevanites would accept his message. He knew. So for years he's been hollering at the Jews to do tshuva, and they didn't listen to him. They mocked him. How would it look in heaven if the low-life Ninevanites listened and his own people didn't listen? He would be a kitrug on Am Yisrael. How do you say that? A kitrug. A prosecutor. So therefore, he didn't want it. He didn't want to be the instrument that God should say, look, your people don't listen. These non-Jews listen. It reflects negatively on his own people, and therefore he didn't want to be the instrument where God would confront him. The Ninevanites listen, your people don't listen, so it's better what? To go run and hide. Now where was he hiding from? Where was he hiding from? The Talmud tells us Nevuah is only in Eretz Yisrael. Prophecy is only in Israel. So he took a boat to where? To Spain or Tarshish. Yeah. So I figured the boss would leave him alone, Sarah. The big boss would leave him alone. There are no... Prophecy is not in Eretz, only in Eretz Yisrael, not the Chutz Loretz. Therefore, by the rivers of Babylon, when Ezekiel got the prophecy in Babylon, Long Island, he was standing inside the river, it says.
Yeah.
Why does the Navi say he was standing inside the river when the windows of heaven opened up? Because you can't get prophecy outside of Eretz Yisrael. Wow. So standing in the river, that river washed up on the borders of Eretz Yisrael. So therefore it's like virtual Eretz Yisrael. Wow. So Ezekiel, to get the prophecy in Babylon, in Babylon, he had to be standing in the river.
Oh, that's good.
But not in the land, because Eretz Yisrael is conducive to prophecy, not Chutz La'aretz. So therefore Yona figured that he's what? God will not bother him anymore. Okay? And he also knew that 100 years later, these Ninevanites would exile the 10 tribes. I'm going to rehabilitate them, that 100 years later, they're going to exile my people. Better let them sink in their what? Depravity. And therefore, they won't be the instrument of what? Of exiling the Jewish people 100 years later. So therefore, to protect and defend Am Yisrael, Yona took off. A flight of fancy. And another reason why he took off, he had to save those sailors. Those sailors on the ship, they became Baal Tshuva, they became Ger Toshav. So look how God works in mysterious ways. If Yona wouldn't have escaped to that ship, all of those pagan sailors would have remained pagans. This way, through what they saw, what happened to Yona, they became what? Baal Tshuva, they became keep the 7, go to heaven. Right? So, Yona had free will to run away, but somehow God maneuvered him onto that boat that these sailors were waiting to be what? To be Makarev. Wow. So Yona had to do Kiruv work, unbeknown to him. But you see how it works, Rabbi Abraham? We have free will, but God has a game plan. So how do you reconcile that? So Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan Zatzal gives a beautiful mashal. He says, we have free will, but we're playing chess with the Grand Master. Wow. When you play chess with the Grand Master, you're moving on your own. But somehow the Grand Master has a way of what? Of controlling the game. So Yona had free will to run away and not to run away. But God maneuvered him. These sailors were waiting to be saved, Chanoch. And they became Baal Tshuva because what they saw by Yona. So anyway, Yona was running away. Now Yona tried to escape in 3 ways. If you analyze the book of Yona, he was a 3-way escape. Number 1, the Talmud says he disguised himself. He took off his shtreimel and he shaved his beard and took off his bekisher. And he put on like a Bermuda, what's it called? Bermuda shirt and Hawaiian shorts. It's the other way around. Hawaiian shirt and Bermuda shorts. He disguised himself, Yona did. He shouldn't look like a Haredi. And he bought a passage on the Love Boat, right? Now, remind me of a story. Now, all my stories are true, but some, Sonia, didn't happen yet. Yona disguised himself. This Yankel from Meir She'arim was heavily in debt. He had to marry off his children. He couldn't make the payments. He was being crushed by debt. So someone told him there's a place called Las Vegas where you can make a lot of money on the roulette wheels in the casinos. So he figured it's a few days before Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, all of his sins will be forgiven. So he said, maybe I'll buy a plane ticket to Las Vegas. Someone lent the money and I'll try my luck and be able to pay off my chayvis, my debts, and marry off my children. But they told him, Yankel, you can't go the way you're dressed. You can't wear your kapota. You can't wear your shtreimel. You won't fit into Las Vegas. You're going to have to shave off your beard and payas. You're going to have to take off your shtreimel. And you're going to have to put on a Hawaiian shirt and Bermuda shorts because you won't fit into Las Vegas. So Nebuch, with a heavy heart, Yankel, crushed by debt, Chava feels he has no choice. Before Yom Kippur, God will forgive him on Yom Kippur a few days before. Shaves off his bort and payas, takes off his shtreimel, and buys a ticket to Las Vegas. Now he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt and Bermuda shorts and sunglasses. And he lands in Las Vegas. You know, he lands in Las Vegas. He's waiting to get his luggage. And he's going to go to the casino, maybe make a lot of money, pay off he's heavily in debt. He's being crushed by debt. He gets his luggage. Remember, he's wearing Bermuda shorts and the shirt and the sunglasses. He gets his luggage and he starts running. And he trips on his way out the airport and he falls down 2 flights of stairs. And he's laying there, Nebuch, with 2 broken legs in the lobby of in the hotel terminal, on the airport terminal, with 2 broken legs. So he looks up, he says, Hashem, Hashem, you didn't even give me a chance. I didn't even leave the terminal. What did you do to me? So Hashem looks down and says, Yankel, is that you? I didn't recognize you.
That's good, Rabbi.
I didn't recognize you, okay? So like Yona, he was disguised. A physical escape, right?
He could have sued the airport and made the money.
And made the money, right?
That's true too.
But Shem said, you were, Yankel, is that you? Where's your boot and payas and your strimal? So anyway, Yona didn't look like a Haredi, physically disguised himself, okay? And on the ship, he goes to sleep. Now, head shrinkers say that if people are depressed, escapism, they go to sleep. So Yona physically disguises himself, then he goes to sleep. That's a form of escapism. We would say Yona's in denial. You would have in denial? He wanted to escape from reality. But number 3, what's the ultimate escape? He wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Yes. He wanted to commit suicide. He told the sailors, drown me in the sea. So that's the ultimate escape through suicide. He said, throw me overboard. So the Navi says each sailor began to pray to their own God. Sailors are very superstitious. They each began to pray to their own pagan God. Yona ben Amitai. What does Amitai mean? Ish emet. He knows the truth. He knows the truth. How come he doesn't pray? He knows why this is happening. Because of him. He's Yona ben Amitai, the man of Emet. He goes to sleep. He doesn't pray. The captain of the love boat asks Yona, Malacha Nirdam. Malacha Nirdam. Why are you sleeping? Now, Sarah, we don't need to know what some pagan captain said to Yona almost 3,000 years ago on a love boat. Tanakh is not a history book. The Tanakh is GPS. So the Zohar says, who's the captain? And he's speaking to me, Malacha Nirdam. Why are you sleeping? We're like walking zombies, going through life like in a slumber. Malacha Nirdam. Wake up, the captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Oh, captain, my captain. He's the captain. And he's speaking to me and you. Malacha Nirdam. Right? It's later than you think. Wake up and do the right thing. Begin to daven for your life. So it's not just speaking to Yona. Otherwise it wouldn't be in Tanakh. Tanakh is not a history book. Tanakh is God's GPS. So Yona wants to commit suicide. He tells the sailors, throw me overboard, drown me. Now we know suicide is murder. And the greatest act of escapism is what? Self-destruction. How could he suggest something like that? Murder, suicide, one of the 3 cardinal sins that you have to die for. And he's willing to commit suicide? Ad kedei kach? Where is he coming from? His master Moshe Rabbeinu. What did Moshe Rabbeinu say to God? When God wanted to destroy the Jewish people after the Chet HaEgel, he said, Mecheni no Sprecher. Erase me from your book of life. So if Moshe Rabbeinu was willing to sacrifice himself to save the Jewish people, Yona could do it too. Yona said, I'll commit suicide. This way I won't be a kitrug. How do you say that in English? I'll prosecute an Am Yisrael. Because if those low-life Nidmanites do tshuva and the Yidden didn't listen all the years, how would it reflect on the Yidden? And they, 100 years later, will exile and destroy the Jewish people. Better I don't listen. I'm willing to give up my life to spare the Jewish people. So he learned from whom? From Moshe Rabbeinu. The problem is that God had other plans. Right? In Yiddish you say, a Mensch tracht, in Gott lacht. How do you say that in English? Right? God had other plans, okay? God had other plans for Yona, okay? So, he was willing to sacrifice his life to save Israel. Nineveh does tshuva, surprise, surprise, but Israel doesn't. So Yona felt he's condemning Israel if he went to Nineveh. All of us are Yona. Now Yona was a victim of his own success, right? He was a victim of his own success. They listened to him. He was hoping against hope that what? They wouldn't listen. They'll be destroyed, and this way 100 years later they will not be able to destroy the 10 tribes.
Like the producers of it.
Right?
He wants to play the flop.
That's right. He was a victim of his own success. Right? Now, all of us are Yona. All of us are racked with self-doubt, trying to run away from our responsibilities in life. The flight of the Yona. Where do I fit in? In Shir Hashirim, God calls us what? Yonati. God calls us his lovey-dovey lovebird. Yonati. Because the Yona is always loyal to the mate. You know, the Yona, a mate dies, it doesn't go anywhere else. It sticks with its own mate, unlike other birds. Right? Or people. The Yona remains loyal to the mate. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, after all the straying, the Jewish people will remain loyal to me. So Yona's me. And all of us, we all attempt to escape from ourselves. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You can run, but you can't hide. Who said that? Joe Louis, I think. You can run, but you can't hide. So, nowhere to hide from our obligations in life. You can't escape your tafkid. So it gives us chizuk on Yom Kippur that even though we run away from our responsibilities in life, we can also what? Return and be metakein, like whom? Yona. It's not too late. Never give up. All of us have a unique destiny that only I can fulfill. No one can do it my way. Why couldn't God get another Navi? Yona doesn't want the job. There are plenty other Nevi'im. The Gemara Megillah says there were millions of Nevi'im. Millions. So get another Navi, it's willing to do the job. No. No one can do it my way. That was Yona's tafkid in life, and no one can do it my way. If Yona doesn't do it, nobody will do it. It won't get done. Just like nobody has my fingerprints. Can I have your fingerprints, please, for a minute? Just like no one has my fingerprints, no one has my tafkid. So if Yona's not going to do it, it just won't get done. So God could not leave him alone, Moshe. He had to hound him until he does it. We say the Mishnah Masechta Avos, Im ein anili mili. Im ein anili mili. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? Says the Sfat Emes, what does that mean? Im ein anili mili. If I am not going to do my mission mili, who will do it? Nobody will do it. Just like my fingerprints are tailor-made for me, buddy, so is my mission. And if I don't do it, says the Sfat Emes, mili, no one will do it. My mission is unique like my fingerprints. So therefore, Yona had to do the job, but God couldn't get another Navi. Because no one can do it my way. So we read this on Yom Kippur. We must all search ourselves on Yom Kippur, find out who we really are, and live up to my full potential, as Yona ultimately did. Hashem is always sending us messages, earthquakes, Hurricane Yona, right? Hurricane Yona, right? Right? There are none so blind as he refuses to see. Yona went to sleep. Many of us are what? Are sleepwalking through the storm. Many of us, Chava, are sleepwalking through the storm. Some people just don't get it. Some people just don't get it. But Yona finally got it. There's a powerful message here. So this is a little bit of the book of Yona on Pshat. But we know that there's Pardes. There's Pshat, Remes, Rush, and Sod. So this is the Pshat of Yona. But what's the Kabbalistic secret of the book of Yona? So for this, you have to look at the sheets. Please take one and pass it down, please. Pass one this way, one that way. Can you give her that? The inside story of the book, one to a customer. The inside story of the book of Yona. Amazing, the Kabbalistic interpretation of the book of Yona. What's the message of the book of Yona? The story behind the story of Abraham. This is the story behind the story. Okay? Now what's amazing is that the Chofetz Chaim wrote the Mishnah Brura, and he wrote the Shar HaTzion. See in the bottom of the page the Shar HaTzion? Moshe, that's part of the Mishnah Brura wrote the Shar HaTzion. What's amazing is that the Mishnah Brura brings Kabbalah and Gilgul in halacha. You never find that, Moshe. The Mishnah Brura was a strictly cold halacha man. It's amazing that here in the Hilchas Yom Kippurim, in the Shar HaTzion, he gets Kabbalistic. And he mixes in Kabbalah and Gilgul in halacha. You never find that for the Chofetz Chaim HaKadosh. Very amazing. So let's go slow here and read the Shar HaTzion. But first you got to fasten your seatbelts. This was written by the Chofetz Chaim HaKadosh. The Shar HaTzion is a parish and the Mishnah Brura. Why do we read the book of Yona on Yom Kippur? Why? Says the Shar HaTzion. You have it? It's highlighted in yellow at the bottom of the page. Can you give one to Avram Berkowitz? It's highlighted in yellow. The Kavanah Sam. People think Ki Adam Choshev Kama Pa'amim Liyayish Es Atzmo. Many times people fall into despair. In English you say Yush. No, in Hebrew you say Yush. Rabbi Avram, you have that? Shar HaTzion Lamata. Amazing that he's talking about Gilgul and Kabbalah in a halacha sefer. Leah, you never find that. Ki Adam Choshev Kama Pa'amim Liyayish Es Atzmo. A person gets so depressed with life, he falls into, I think it's called fatalism. How do you say in English?
That's right.
Liyayish Es Atzmo she'ein yochel litaken b'shim ofen. There's no way, I'm so far behind the 8 ball, I'm such a no goodnik, there's no hope for me. Va'al kein yisnayek tomid ba'ofen echad, and therefore I'll persist in my what? Self-destructive behavior, because there's no hope for me anyway. V'im yigzar olav HaKadosh Baruch Hu lamut, yamut. That's called fatalism, I think, no? And if God decrees that he has to die, he'll die. So the Satan says it's too late for you. You're such a no good lowlife. No matter what you do, you can't change your lifestyle. So go down, continue. Avul toasu. Avram, you have that? Avul toasu. Ta'ut. Ta'ut. It's a big mistake. Shesoif dover yeh, because in the end, kol ma sha'Kadosh Baruch Hu rotze min nafsho sheyitakein. Whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from your soul to do the tikkun, mukhrach letakein. What does mukhrach mean? You're forced to make that tikkun that only I can do. Imein anili mili. Listen to this. You have it underlined, Yehuda. V'yovai ot pam upamayim. Listen to this. The Mishnah Brura writing in halacha sefer. You never find it. V'yovai ot pam upamayim l'olam hazeh. And if you don't do it now, you can pay me now, or you can pay me later. Moshe, it's amazing. You'll come back. Ot pam upamayim nachamul. Gilgul means what?
Reincarnation.
Gilgul.
Circle.
Galgal. The Yovai Ot Pam Upamayim, you get recycled once and again, L'olam hazeh. Ubal Karcha Yuchrach Letakein. You're forced to do your tikkun. If not now, then when you get recycled. What business is God in? Recycling business or the soul repair business? Soul repair. S-O-U-L.
Sometimes he does heels.
The imkain, listen to this. You have this Rivka. The imkain, and if it's so, that only I can do it my way, lama lo kola amal. What do I need all amal? What does amal mean? Lamut, to die, the lisbor chibut hakever. To suffer, how do you translate chibut hakever? Tribulations of the grave. The neshama has to see its body decomposing in the grave. The neshama has mental anguish from that. A dead body can't feel any pain. But the godly soul that was living in that body for 100 years has a strong kesher. So when the neshama sees her body decomposing in the ground, it's chibut hakever. The mental anguish that the soul has watching its body rot in the ground is the worst type of anguish. And that the Kabbalists call chibut hakever. Tribulations of the grave, ushar tzorot. You have to come back to be born and to suffer and to die again. V'lachza ota hapam. See the question mark, Yehuda? Who needs it?
Yeah.
Do it right, so you won't have to be recycled. Uraya mi Yona. What does the word Yona literally mean? A bird. The neshama is like a dove. A dove that wants to fly away. Fly away. I won't give up my day job. Fly away. But God says you can fly away, but you're going to have to come back to me. Uraya mi Yona. Yona is every one of us. Sha'kodesh Baruch Hu rotze mi'ito sheyelech v'yenabe. God said, you must go and prophesy against Nineveh. I know all your frume cheshbonos. Frume cheshbonos. Sarah, you know what that means? He had very frume cheshbonot. Noble intention not to condemn Israel. They'll be rehabilitated, and 100 years later, they're going to exile the 10 tribes. God knew all that.
That's why you picked him.
Right? But I want you to go anyway. Don't be smarter than God. Don't be a ibachuchem. God knows all the frume cheshbonos. So what? Shakosh Baruch Hu rotze mi'ito sheyelech v'yenabe. He must v'hu me'en bozeh. He refused. Yehuda, the best way to learn Hebrew. V'hu me'en bozeh. He refused. V'nos layam. And he ran away to the sea. By the sea, by the sea, by the... Makom, why did he go to the sea? Makom shlayisha olav od ashchina. Lenabas kiyadua. Because when you leave the borders of Eretz Yisrael, the Shechina won't rest on you. So he figured that what? He made his escape good. The great escape. He won't condemn Israel. 100 years later, they won't exile the 10 tribes. He won't be the prosecutor. So he escaped. That's what he thought. But no. V'reinu shenidba bayam. He got what? Drowned in the sea. V'nivla badag. And he got swallowed by Moby Dick. V'nivla badag. It's amazing. This is the Mishnah Berurah talking. How do you survive in the belly of a whale for a few days? And according to all appearances, it looked that no way he's going to be dead soon. The whale will eat him up or he'll die of suffocation. So it looks like God's game plan will not be carried out. Umikol makom, ay ay ay. Umikol makom roinu. Nechama, you have a paper? Mikol makom roinu. What do we see? It's not a history book. GPS, God's personal system. Shesoif dava haya. In the end, Sharatzayin Hashem Yisbarach Niskayim. Who won out? Hashem won out against all odds. Yona had free will, but he's playing chess with the Grand Master. Vayelech v'yenabe. In the end, he was forced to what, Moshe? Prophesize. Listen to the punchline. Malk, you have this? Yes. Cain hu adam bin Yona. This Yona is every human being. Cain hu adam bin Yona. Every person in his own little world is Yona, who thinks that he can escape from his mission. It looks like he might escape his mission, but God says, no, I'm going to recycle you again and again until you get it right. And therefore the Haftorah we read yesterday, we read Isaiah chapter 60, buddy. V'amech kulam tzadikim. God tells Isaiah chapter 60, yesterday's Haftorah Malka, V'amech kulam tzadikim. Your people are all tzadikim, even merits? Even merits? How could God say V'amech kulam tzadikim? Yes. After all the Gilgulim and all the Tikkunim, every Jew is going to be a tzaddik. Yesterday's Haftorah, Chava. V'amech kulam tzadikim. After all the Tikkunim and all the Gilgulim, every Jew is going to be a tzaddik. Now the word Gilgul, Gimel Lamed, Gimel Vav Lamed, has the same gematria as the word Chesed. And that's all Komikidinki. Gimel Lamed, Gimel Vav Lamed is the gematria of Chesed. It's a Chesed Habore, says the Ari, that God doesn't give up on no Jewish soul. He will recycle him again and again, a Chesed Habore, until he does his tikkun. So, yes?
One question is, then how can you say we have free choice if Hashem is going to manipulate it so you always win? Oh,
that's a good question. So Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan asks your question, and he answers, we're playing chess with a grandmaster.
Yeah. He sets up a different scene.
I have free will. I'm moving my pawn and my rook. Nobody's forcing me to move the pawn and the rook. The castle, it's called the castle, right? The rook. But the grandmaster, it's a beautiful analogy. Yeah, he's controlling the game. I'm moving free will, but somehow his plan is being achieved. That's the great paradox. That's huge. Of my free will, Sonia, his free will.
Okay, and my second question is, I don't understand. The Mishnah Berurah wrote a commentary on the Mishnah.
Shara Tzion is a commentary in Mishnah Berurah. Now he doesn't put it in Mishnah Berurah because it might upset people. The Shara Tzion is only read by scholars. The Shara Tzion is a commentary on the Mishnah Berurah. So he doesn't put it in the Mishnah Berurah, some people might get upset. So he puts it down at the bottom of the page, which is only read by scholars. But today we're all scholars, Mikimia. We're all scholars today. So we're not going to shy away. Now think about it. The belly of the whale, that resembled a kever, didn't it, Elisheva? The belly of the whale is dark, it's dank, it's wet. That's like a kever. That's like a kever, the belly of the beast. Who emerges from there? Yona. That's every one of us who don't do the mission. We get recycled like Yona. I think it's called born again. Yeah. Ooh. Born again. Now, what's more amazing, Nechama, got to tell this to your brother, many people say the Talmud doesn't mention Gilgal at all. I heard this from Avigdor Miller, Zatzal. The Talmud doesn't mention Gilgal at all. The Shar Tzion differs with Avigdor Miller and other great rabbis. Look what the Shar Tzion says here, Rabbi Abraham. He quotes a Mishnah in Avos that's proof for Gilgal. Lillian, it's amazing that the Mishnah Berurah, Shar Tzion, would not just quote Gilgal in Halacha, but he brings a Mishnah in Avot. The bottom of the page is highlighted in yellow. You have it? Yeah. V'zeh she'amru ba'avot. This is what the Mishnah says in Avot. Al yiftachacha yitzercha. Let not your Yetzer Hara promise you shahashoyel beis monoslach, that the grave is a place of refuge. What does the Yetzer Hara say to you? Wine, women, and song, right? Because when you're dead, it's all over. It can't do anything to you. You're dead, you're dead. No. Shal korchacha ato noitzar. Against your will, you're reformed. Val korchacha ato noilad. And against your will, you're born again. Val korchacha ato meish. And against your will, you die again. So this Mishnah, Masechta Avot, the Mishnah Brura, the Chofetz Chaim, the Sha'ar Tzion quotes this Mishnah to prove that there's Gilgul. Because the Yetzer Hara says, once you're dead, it's over. But no, the Mishnah says, Al kochacho ata noitzar. Once you're dead, you didn't do your mission, against your will, you're reformed. Reformed? I don't mean reformed. Val kochacho ata noilad. And against your will, you're born again. Val kochacho ata meis. And against your will, you die again. You cannot escape your mission. You cannot escape your mission. And the message is, Yona, each and every one of us, we try to run away from our mission, whether consciously or subconsciously, Chava. But it's not going to do me any good. So the Chama said, where's my free will? Where's my free will? I have free will, but I'm playing chess with the Grand Master. That's such a beautiful analogy by Arya Kaplan, Zecher Tzadik Evracha. Right? Yona had free will not to run to the boat, right? Abraham, he could have run to a cave. But he had to pick that love boat because those sailors on the boat, because of him, became what? Baalei Tshuva. If it wasn't for him on the boat, they would have died low-life pagans. But God couldn't allow that. So somehow, he maneuvered Yona onto that love boat. Not a different love, not the Titanic, but that love boat. These sailors were waiting for him. Not consciously, but subconsciously. If he wouldn't have run, those sailors would have been what? Remained low-life pagans. Look how HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Yona had free will. He didn't have to, but somehow the grand chess master Chava maneuvered it. That he had to wind up on that ship.
Say there's no more Gilgul.
According to the Baal Shem Tov, he said that this time around we finished the job. The Baal Shem Tov said that's the major machlokes. Why was the Vilna Gaon so against Hasidism? The Vilna Gaon was very much against Hasidism. Why? A major point of contention was, because you look in the Shulchan Aruch, on the yacht side, you're supposed to fast. On the yacht side of a parent, you're supposed to fast. Comes along the Baal Shem Tov, and he says, from now on, we're not fasting, we're feasting. So the Vilna Gaon said, what are we changing the religion here? That was one of the major reasons why the Vilna Gaon put Hasidim in Cherem. But the problem is, Baal Shem Tov said, I'm not changing the religion. But until my time, why did you fast on the yacht side? Because on the yacht side is the Yom Adin for the Niftar. So Yom Adin for the Niftar, and maybe God will call him out and say, listen, look, your children are up, there's no good, we're going to have to recycle you maybe, and come down again. So it's a Yom Adin, it's very painful for the Neshama to be. Neshama doesn't want to come down, Yehuda. It's painful for the Neshama. Chibut HaKever. So we fast that the Neshama wouldn't have to be recycled. But the Baal Shem Tov said he got a telegram or an SMS that from his time on, there are no more Gilgulim. So the Yom Hadin now, the yacht side, is, instead of fasting, you can feast. Because the Neshama has done its tikkun. There's no more need to be recycled. That was the shit of the Baal Shem Tov. That from his time and on, there's no more need to be recycled. All the neshamas have been through. We've been here many times, and this is our last spin of the wheel. That's the Baal Shem Tov shita. Therefore, Hasidim on the yacht side, they don't what? Fast. They feast. The Snagdim continue to fast, but Hasidim will follow the Baal Shem Tov since he claims there's no more need for Gilgul anymore. So therefore, it's a day of feasting. The neshama did its tikkun. That's the Baal Shem Tov shita, yes?
So what are we doing here then? If in his time that's...
No, but all people born from his time on are here for the last time. Don't you understand?
That's...
Everyone from 1760 and on, anyone born, it's his last spin of the wheel. So there's no need to fast on a Yotzeit because the Tikkunim have been done. We've all been here many times. So he claimed a Kabbalah that he knows that. So therefore, there's no need to fast. But anyway, if you take a look at the text in the Shulchan Aruch here, why it's called Yom HaKippurim, a Day of Atonement, Yehuda. If you look in the text, it's highlighted in the text. Why is it called Yom HaKippurim, a Day of Atonements? You ask any Ulpan teacher, it's Yom Kippur, a Day of Atonement. But it's actually, Abraham, Yom HaKippurim, a Day of Atonements, with an S. Why is it in the plural? So you see the Ramah, I have it highlighted in top. You have it? Umaskir nishmosayim. Why do you say Yisker on Yom Kippur? Why? What's the next word? You have it in the text? The Hametim Gam Kein Yesh Lehem Kapara B'Yom HaKippurim. The dead also have atonement on Yom Kippur, so therefore it's called Yom HaKippurim in the plural. It's a day of atonements for the living and also atonement for what? For the dead. But I don't understand. If you're dead, it's over. Why do the dead need kapara? So take a look, please, at the Mishnah Brura. You see on the right side, Mishnah Brura, the Chama. Check, there's a check there, Vav. You there have it highlighted, Vav. Hametim, you see that? Yud Ches Hametim, Mishnah Brura on the right column.
Middle of right column.
V'lechein nikra Yom HaKippurim. Therefore the day is called what? Avram, you have it? It's highlighted in yellow, Mishnah Brura. Why is it called a Day of Atonements? Beloshin Rabim, Rotzaloymar, L'chayim V'lametim. For the living and for the dead. But why do the dead need kapara? Frightening, Chanoch. The answer is, the person is dead. He can no longer do good or bad. But the forces that he set in motion while he was alive lives beyond him. The institutions that he created or he gave to, the role model that he was or he wasn't, that lives Chava beyond him. So every Yom Kippur, God will take out the tick and say, let's see what your children are up to. Were you a positive role model or chas v'sholom, a negative role model? Where did you contribute your money to? To the Ashba Yeshiva or to what? To save, I don't know, LGBT, lo yaleinu, ligbit, all that nonsense, discotheques, lo yaleinu. So it's frightening that what we do lives on beyond us, positive or negative. And therefore, it's Yom HaKippurim l'chayim, Moshe v'gam l'meitim. That's frightening. It's not over. What we do, our behavior, our actions live beyond us. Positive, chas v'sholom, negative. What kind of influence were we on our family and friends? What kind of role model were we? Positive or, God forbid, negative. And that's also evaluated when? On Yom Kippur for the dead. Look at the next Mishnah Brura. Have you that? Amesim gamkein yeshtem kapara b'yom HaKippurim. How do the dead get kapara? How? When we give tzedakah in their memory, how does it help? How does giving tzedakah in their memory help then? The Amrinon, we say, ilu hoyachai, if he was still alive, hoyanoisen gam came tzedakah. He would also give tzedakah. Vafilim hoyani, let's say he was too poor, hoyatahor lei v'rotzelitain. So it adds merit to the departed soul. It looks like, Yehuda, that the dead inherit the living. But we think that the living inherit the dead. But it looks like, Avraham, the dead inherit the living. They wait for us to elevate their soul through mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim, to giving tzedakah. They're waiting for us to elevate. They can no longer do mitzvot, but we can do for them. We can do for them.
That's why there's a final judgment day, because we raise them up.
That's right. Now, Aval Ba'ava Rosha ain't a moil. Look what he says here. But a Rosha Gomer, tzedakah ain't going to help. Vim is vada kol demoto. But if a Rosha Gomer confesses before he dies, yesh loymar, the yesh loy kapara, uketzadi choshuv. A person can be a Rosha all of his life. If he confesses on his deathbed, he has olam haba. Umistabra dim haben noten bad aviv. If children give tzedakah for deceased parents, bechol gavna moyel hokal dinoi, they can lighten the din of their deceased parents. The bra mezaka abba. What does that mean? Bra mezaka abba. A child adds merit to a deceased parent. Bra mezaka abba. Write down, be mezaka my parents, giving a shear. It's amazing that the Chaim Kanevsky says when you are doing tzedakah or giving a shear for deceased people, you should mention the name. Yeah. Except for parents. You listen, Rabbi Abraham? For parents, said the Chaim Kanevsky, you don't have to mention the name. When you do a mitzvah, you don't have to mention Leila Nishmas, your parent. It automatically, what's the word, accrues?
Yeah.
Accrues to your parents. Yiddish Sonia.
Wow.
For another niftar, you should mention the name. Right? Like we mentioned Elimelech ben Levi Yitzchak. We mentioned Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach. But for parents, you don't have to mention. Wow. Yiddish Golda. Chaim Kanevsky said this. Because by parents and children, it automatically accrues. Is that the right word?
Yes. Accrues
to their account. Because the child-parent relationship is not broken with death. They'll always be my parents forever. Wow. I'm always their child. The relationship is not broken, so for them it's not necessary to say their names because it's automatically Leila Nishmatam. The bra mezaka abba, because children are mezaka deceased parents in the afterlife. In the afterlife. Yes.
Seen Rasha Gomor and Tina Shanishma.
A Rasha Gomor means someone that went to yeshiva, knows the truth, and deliberately throws it away. He knows. He learned. He knows the truth, and he chucked it. He rebelled. That's a Rasha Gomor. A Tinik Shanishba means he grew up with Israel TV, or he grew up with channel, I don't know, METV. It's called brainwashing. Wow. Right? He never learned the truth. He was brainwashed by METV or whatever it's called there, what? CNN and Fox News, right? Tinik Shanishba. Right? CNN, whatever. Brainwashed, never learned the truth. So for him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will not hold him so much accountable. Because he never learned the truth. He never came. Baruch Hashem, we went to yeshiva, buddy. Our parents sent us to yeshiva. We know the truth. So we're much more accountable. It's amazing. I'll tell you a word from Aaron Kotler Zatzal to answer Avram Berker's question. Please hear me. Rav Aaron Kotler. The storm is about to, we have time. The storm is about to destroy the ship. Hurricane Yona. Yona, a Navi, is a Haredi Navi, speaks to God. Who is he on the ship with, Sarah? Sailor Sam. You remember the sailor with Frank Sinatra? Right? The sailors are not the best people. Cutthroats, lowlifes. Right? So what does he tell them? Bishvili hasara godel hazeh. This storm about to destroy the ship is bishvili.
It's because...
Why does he say that? Maybe it's one of the lowlifes, the cutthroats, Sailor Sam. You know, sailors are not the most moral people. Why does the great Navi Hashem assume bishvili hasara godel hazeh?
Because he's running away.
Says Avaron Kotler Zatzal. Answer your kasha. When Loyalenu tragedy strikes, you cannot turn to the Friar Yidden. They don't know any better. They never learned. It's Dafke the Haredi who knows better. He's responsible. You have Aaron Kotler Zatzal? Don't blame the conservative. Don't blame the Reform Jews, said Rav Aaron. What do you want? They were taught brainwashing. Bishvili. Yona Hanavi, I'm responsible. I know better. What can you expect from people that never learned? They were taught garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. You hear this from Aaron Cutler? Bishvili, the great Haredi rabbi, the Navi. It's my responsibility. Nebuch, they don't know any better. We know better. So we have an awesome responsibility. So the book of Yona is not a storybook. It can be read on many different levels, all equally true. It's true on the simple level, but it's also true on the Kabbalistic level. And amazing that the Mishnah Brura in the Shar Tzion writes Kabbalah and Gilgul. You never find that, Chava.
Right.
And he quotes a Mishnah in Avot to prove the doctrine of Gilgul. That's very, you ask a lot of Talmidei Chachamim, they'll tell you the Talmud doesn't mention Gilgul at all. The Shar Tzion disagrees, the Mishnah Brura disagrees, and he does bring it down here. And the fact that Ramban says that it's the Ikra of Yahadut. Now the Rambam doesn't talk about Gilgul. But if the Rambam would say everything, Rabbi Abraham, Nachmanides will be unemployed. The Rambam doesn't say anything about Gilgul, but he has to leave over something for Nachmanides. And Rabbeinu Bachai. Doesn't mean he didn't believe in it, he just didn't talk about it. Right? But Nachmanides, Rabbeinu Bachai, and the Ari say that Gilgul is the Ikra of Yahadut. And the Zohar quotes this book, the book of Yona, that every neshama is like a Yona trying to run away, and in the end, we cannot run away from our mission. No. Right? That's right. You can pay me now, or you can pay me later. What's the analogy? Can a father give up on any child? No matter how rotten a kid is. A parent cannot afford to give up. God cannot afford to give up on any Jew, because we're all a chelik elahai mimal. You know what that means? Chelik elahai mimal. And the Palatanya says mamash. The chelik elahai mimal is a verse in Iyov 31. That every Jew is a chelik elahai mimal. Job was jealous. Job 31. You Yidden have a chelik elahai mimal. A regular person just has a tzelem Elohim, image of God. But on top of that, we have a chelik elahai mimal, an actual part of God in us. And the Balatanya says mamash. Mamash. What does mamash mean? Really? Mamash. So God cannot afford to give up on any Jew. So ve'amech kulam tzadikim. We're all going to make it. But why do we need the chibut hakever, Avraham? Let's do it right now. We don't want to be recycled. It's very painful for the neshama to be recycled. Yes?
If you can't give up, why is then so rare or rare mentioned in the Torah?
The Gemara Sanhedrin says, Lahoya v'loy nivra. It's only to scare us. The Ben Sarah Mora never happened, never could happen. The Ir Anadachas could never happen, Malka. It's only there to frighten us. I think it's called a deterrent, Yehuda. Deterrent? It can't. The Gemara proves that a Sarah Mora can happen. Ir Anadachas can't happen. It's to frighten us to act as a deterrent. I think it's called shock value? Gold, what's it called? Shock therapy. Shock therapy, yes.
But what about Hester Panim? How do you fit that in?
Hester Panim?
There is Hester Panim in our history.
Hester Panim is tough love. You're tough love, not a joke.
But isn't that free choice?
Hester Panim is tough love.
But isn't it?
Sometimes a parent has to demonstrate tough love. Right? You ask, some doctors say, head shrinkers, the kid, is a dope addict and he's engaged in self-destructive behavior. What do they say, the doctors? Throw him out of the house. Right. Cut him off.
Intervention.
It's tough love.
Yeah, he'll steal from you.
Hester Panim is tough love. It's tough love, that's right. So we engage in self-destructive behavior. Kodesh Baruch Hu Chas v'Sholom has to practice tough love. But when Mashiach comes, the mask will come off. Peekaboo! I see you. The mask will come off. No more Hester Panim, Chava. The jig is up. The jig is up, the mask comes off. That's Mashiach. In this week's Parsha, Deuteronomy 30, verse 6. Komiki Dinki Yehuda. This week's Parsha, Devarim 30, verse 6. Umal Hashem elokechas lavavcha. When Mashiach comes, God will circumcise your heart.
Yes.
This week's Parsha, what does that mean? God will perform open heart surgery? The Ramban says no. The blindness will come off. The spiritual cholesterol will be removed from our heart. And we'll see the truth. Hester upon him will be what?
History.
His story. Right? The Mullah Shem, his story. What's the story? Okay? So, next Sunday there is no shiur because it's Rosh Hashanah, but Thursday we have a shiur, 2 o'clock, on current events in the Haftorah. And Tzom Gedalia, please don't forget my father's Yotzai. Tzom Gedalia, Wednesday, October 5, 4 p.m. Yom Kippur, the original soul food, at 4 o'clock. Minchas at 5:30, then a break fast. Thank you very much. Shana Tova.